the string of shootings, Trump coming into office. There's a line between those things, and the country has not recovered from that. The church hasn't recovered from it. So we're seeing the effects of that series of events. Yeah. Still today. So I don't know how to fix it necessarily, but I'm not afraid.
Just put it in work. We raising the bar. You tuned into the Trackstarz.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. What's good?
Man, I think we found somebody, man. I think maybe a couple of weeks ago we had somebody sitting at the helm and we lost them and then we found them again. What's up, Sean Tanner? Welcome back.
What's up?
Yeah, man.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. First of all, I want to say, man, you guys did an amazing job. It feels good to be able to just sit back and chill and know everything is going good. Yeah, Ryan held it down. You held it down last week by yourself.
Yeah,
Trey did a great job. Rick did a great job. We had some guests that came in and filled in for us. Swoop was a great interview. I watched that whole thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Sarita.
It was Clean Ears was in the building. It was just awesome. You guys did a great job.
Yeah,
appreciate it, man. We, it's hard to feel that way when we know you're watching, and it's like the moment somebody's like, "Hey, that didn't sound good." Like, oh man, it's another notch, another strike. But yeah, man, good to have you back, man. Fill us in. What's been going on?
So, my daughter was born on the 11th of February.
Yes.
Noah, N-O-A, okay. Noah Gianna Grant, and haven't slept since. So it's been good, man. My wife, I tweeted out that day. I was like, she's a superhero. Just watching her go through everything she had to go through, and she was super strong the whole time. It's like she wasn't even having a baby that day. Like it was just super chill the whole time. I was just so impressed with her, man, and just how she was able to handle that. Like even just getting the epidural, I would have passed out. Like,
yeah.
She took that like a G. And then just seeing my daughter for the first time, it don't feel real yet. Still, still don't feel real. Yeah. But she's doing great, man. She's awesome. She has a little personality already. I was up since 3 last night, so dealing with her. Hasn't slept since, but no, she's awesome, man. It's been great, and I just moved too, so dealing with that as well. Yeah. So it's a lot, but hopefully it'll start calming down soon.
Yeah, you did a lot in like a 2-3 week period.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't be able to take on, so you did it like a champ, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
I was really excited. Just being able to kind of watch Trackstarz from a distance, kind of evaluate like what does it feel like to be a listener of the show? What does it feel like to just be a fan of the show? What does it feel like to be an artist that wants to get on Trackstarz? You know what I mean? Like just kind of sitting back and watching, just kind of taking notes and seeing, where we can take this thing. Yeah, it's been fun, and just shout out to Jason and Eric and Ashley and everybody, Stanley, everybody behind the scenes that kind of took the slack from me. I think you guys got to see kind of everything I got to do when I'm back.
There's a lot that you do that we're like, should we call Sean for that or should we try to figure it out, right? So we, going on Google and trying to figure out things, and then everybody trusts that I'm in communication with you, so they'll send little messages to me. They're like, "Hey, if you talk to Sean this week, can you tell him this is going on with the website?" It's like, okay, all right, cool. But
and shout out to Doc Watson. He really stepped up and helped us with something big.
He did. I was struggling, man, and I was like, "Yo, I know I shouldn't do this, but Doc, I need you, bro." Like, I mean, he answered at like midnight and walked me through a process, man. So there's a lot of people who are champions for what we do, right? And it's not about you or your brand or any other thing. I mean, there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now, even on the front end, with new acquisitions and new partnerships, and we've been talking to new partners, and everything has just been about a camaraderie in a group, and I like that effort. I love that push that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, man. So just being able to sit back and kind of watching reactions to things. What I've noticed, because I got calls about y'all's talk last week. I got some calls and like some big name artists.
Really?
Yeah, and just like I heard your podcast last week about MAGA, and I was like, okay. So there's some stuff that we need to address with Trackstarz, and I think we're in a good spot because we come from a different perspective. Because we never really we're kind of new to CHH. Like when we started, I mean, you may have known that term. I didn't even know what that was. And I come from what they will call white church, and then into what they will call black church. So I kind of have that experience on both sides, and I can kind of hear the thoughts and opinions of both sides of this and understand where everybody's coming from. So I can understand why there was a little bit of like hesitation, but I also realized that when I listened to it, I'm like, but where are the lies? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't hear any lies, but I understand why people are upset. So I think part of why we started this, I remember when Ryan sat down, he was like, I want to start a radio station that's colorless and faceless, cultureless, faceless, whatever. And I think it's been hard to do that recently.
That was pre-Trump.
Yeah, it's been hard to really do that. And I'm the most non-political person. Like I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I've been more of a Republican in my life than a Democrat, so I could kind of understand what they're saying. But we really need to figure out how to heal some of these hurts. Like he's kind of ruining life right now.
What was said to you about last week? Just
some people feeling like generalized.
Okay.
You know, feeling like maybe misunderstood. I saw Derek Miner's comments, and he's telling the truth. If you don't believe him, he's telling the truth. Like the token stuff and all that stuff is true. And I think the disconnect is just for me. I grew up at First Baptist Atlanta, First Baptist Woodstock in Florida. Like I'm from that world, right? And I think the disconnect is that for years I remember. Because my dad is an evangelist. Like, he comes from that world. Like, you call it white evangelicals. He's a black evangelical, right? So I come from that world. I remember standing up on the side of the street picketing for abortion rights. And, you know, like this is deep. So imagine for years you've been trying to fight for abortion rights, against gay rights and all that kind of stuff. And finally, whether this guy, you like him or not, he's finally doing the stuff that you wanted somebody to be able to do unapologetically, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of people, and I may be wrong, and I want to have this conversation with people who actually are, on that side and then can, say it better than me. But I think they see it as this is a Christian thing. This is we're finally getting what we've been wanting, and those liberals that are trying to ruin our country with godlessness, they're finally getting what they deserve, right? Yeah. So I think a lot of it comes from that kind of place where we're having a problem is that a lot of black people, especially these black Christian hip hop artists that are speaking out about, and this started before Trump. This started when like Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown and all that kind of stuff, right? I think we're saying, hey, you like our music, but it sounds like you don't like us. It's like you don't care about what we care about.
Or you like the music, but you don't like our theology.
No. You don't like us. Like if you actually sat down with Derek Miner, this is what he says. Yeah. If you sat down with Lecrae, this is the stuff he says. Yeah. So it sounds like you don't like me. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and you don't care about what I care about. So if I say the president sounds racist to me, and you don't care, that hurts. That hurts me. Yeah. So you may be hurt by me saying that you guys are doing this, and I'm hurt by you not caring about what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's a disconnect that we need to fix between those two worlds because it's getting bad.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm still trying to figure out last week what was said that was like, oh my God, that the cause was flooding.
So let me tell you, I think one of the reasons why this is an identity issue, right? Because everybody, when you look at voting polls and when you talk about politics, you hear white evangelicals, right? Yeah. And so when you say evangelicals, we're evangelicals as well, but we don't have black evangelicals as a common phrase that describes us all, right? And so that's the issue, is that not everybody identifies with the theology or the thinking or the mindset of the white evangelical voters. Yeah. And so that's where people who are like, well, I'm white and I'm an evangelical and I'm evangelical can feel like I'm generalized or I'm put into that category.
I'm not like those other people. I'm not the Tiki Torch guy. I'm not the whoever.
Get it. So would be the equivalent to if like if somebody said something negative about black people and put them all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be on that level.
Yeah. So unfortunately though, if you look at polls and stuff, it's you're not necessarily wrong, but we know a lot of nuance. We know there's people on our team that are Republican that may support Trump.
Yeah.
And they're not racist. So I think the rub is you're assuming that I'm racist too. Now, the rub back is, but we're telling you the guy is.
Yeah.
And you don't seem to care.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where we're having a problem, but even in the church right now.
So what if they ask you, what's about him that makes him a racist?
I mean, I'll just tell you some things that struck me.
Yeah, for both of you guys, like say like something that you like, man, this is obviously racist. You know what I mean? That people won't get, that the normal person that's Christian. So
people know by now that my family's from Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
So that whole S-hole countries thing, that was not cool for me. You're basically saying black countries are crap holes, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a rumor anymore. It's been confirmed by a lot of people that have said that. So it's kind of like that's racist already.
Yeah.
That you assume that Jamaica and Haiti and African countries, they're just crap holes just because they're not whatever. So that hurt. That hurt directly. And I think sometimes people don't realize that black people can see when you're racist to other people too.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing about Mexicans and people from South America, the way he talked about Muslims, like even though it may not be directly to us, it sounds the same. You see what I'm saying? So when, like the tiki torches, Jews will not replace us, and then he's like, they're good people. Like that, we see that too. Yeah. It don't have to just be to us. And there was a lot of stuff to us. Like there's like little, I think people get confused when we say like microaggressions and like coded language and dog whistles. There are words and phrases that when people say them, everybody knows what they mean. White nationalist. Nationalist just without the white. Like those are things that it's like everybody, we're all like, what? Yeah. You can say that now? Yeah. And I guess the only assumption is maybe he doesn't know what it means, but I find that hard to believe. So I think that those are the things that are like, you can be friends with black people, you can like black stuff and still say problematic stuff. Yeah. And I think there's a disconnect where we're like, I watched The Apprentice. He's been on Saturday Night Live doing Drake's dance. Like that doesn't mean, he has black friends. That doesn't mean he's not saying things that are bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think because we see those things blatantly, it's not even like I think he might know. It's like, yo, dude, you went too far. And we're not being heard. Yeah, you seem like it feels like we're like, that's fine. But look at what he's doing; it's so good. It's like, but you don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's the disconnect. Yeah. So I think we just need to have conversations. My dream would be to have Derek Minor and then some of the other people that disagree. Yeah.
So what was the disagreement about what he said that made it like super bad? Because I think the NF part is real. Yeah. Like just being real. Like that NF, what he said about NF, okay, prime example, I'm watching the Rap Game. I don't know if you still watch that show or not.
No,
okay. But this season they had a young white man on there, a young white kid, and he wasn't really up to par as everybody else. But from a marketing standpoint, I could tell it would be easier to market him than everybody else on the show. And I could tell Jermaine Dupri probably felt some type of way like, dang, I knew I could have marketed this kid a little bit different than these.
I think maybe the problem is that people think we're making it up. Yeah. And maybe it's the truth of that is a little shocking to people because I'll tell you for a fact, when NF hit Billboard, I personally got called by record executives and asked by black record executives, do you have a white boy on your team? Yeah. White and black executives, do you have a white boy on your team? We gotta make this work. Yeah. Because they know it works. Yeah. So does that make people racist for liking a white rapper? No. It's just it's more familiar. You know, it's more shocking that somebody can rap like that. But No, I mean we do have a white boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got. So it's like
Yes, we do.
Go watch.
Yes, we
so
do.
it's like it's understandable. I think what people get confused by is there's numbers to this. It's like you can root for Derek all you want, but Derek doesn't have the same opportunity that Nate has.
Yeah.
And you could boil it down to, oh well, Nate is better. It's not as simple as Nate is better. Nate, there was a lane for Nate.
Yeah.
That he took. The label crafted perfectly, a perfect plan for him, and there was the audience that was available to him was bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. So is that racist for me to point out? I don't think so.
No.
But it's not fair. I think, okay, so going back to kind of what our conversation was last week about it, was like, I know from my point was, it's not fair for Lecrae to have to be super duper theology, John Piper, all this for your kids to accept them.
Yeah.
Whereas NF is just he in his feelings and it's like, oh, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was stating that in his tweet, like, yo.
There's multiple reasons for that. Lecrae is one of the reasons for that.
Yeah.
I think Lecrae helped make NF possible.
Yeah.
Because he kind of, took people. He made it okay for people to collaborate with like a Logic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he made that possible for the church. And honestly, this whole Lecrae NF thing, it really just boils down to, we had a string of shootings, all at the same span of time. We still have them now, but we don't remember everybody's name like we used to. It was like Mike Brown, Tamir Rice.
Yeah.
It was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It was a string of those.
Yeah.
And that really hurt our country.
Yeah.
That string of shootings really hurt our country, and we didn't recover from it.
Yeah.
Obama getting elected, the string of shootings, Trump coming into office. There's a line between those things, and the country has not recovered from that. The church hasn't recovered from it. So we're seeing the effects of that series of events. Still today. So I don't know how to fix it necessarily, but I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it on our team. We have very intense discussions amongst our team members about race and politics and stuff like that. But the goal is to find, like, we're all Christians. We're all brothers and sisters. So the goal is to say, man, if I was born a white person, I would hope I would hear you out. Yeah. And if you were born a black person, I'm sure that you want to be heard out. So like, let's just talk through it. Like, let's figure out why why are you hurt by what I said? Why am I hurt by it? And let's figure it out. I think we could do that as a family. It doesn't have to be, white show gets white listeners and black show gets black listeners and there's no crossover. It doesn't have to be white rapper gets white fans, black rapper. It doesn't have to be like that. But there is a divide in our country, and we got to fix it.
I think the unfortunate thing about this divide is that everyone feels some type of urgency, or not even urgency, but everyone feels a responsibility to go with their culture, right? My culture, I gotta protect my culture. I gotta stand up for my culture, and it may not even be about that. Like, I was having a conversation with one of our team members, and I was like, dude, I just love you for your heart for Jesus and what you bring to, my life, and just the fact that we are brothers of a different color, but we still have the same feelings about so much that we can't see division, right? We can't see division. And so that's what I think we are missing. We're missing the fact that people can't turn away from their skin color long enough to say.
And this is one thing I saw, and I wish I would have wrote her name down, because Derek tweeted what he tweeted, right? And she said, "I'm a MAGA supporter. Oh, yeah, I love your music." But her tone and her the way she approached it felt pure, and it felt honest, and it felt like that's the kind of conversation I love to see. When you could say, I really, really don't understand what you're saying, because I like him, and I don't hate you, and like, she was genuinely like confused and genuinely concerned. That's if we could all get to that place of genuine concern about what's happening to the people we're talking to, then I think we could help fix some of this, even if we're not on the same side. Now, I personally believe that because there are these conspiracy theories about these agendas that people have, it feels like you're not just fighting against the person's thoughts. It feels like you're fighting against George Soros or Hillary Clinton or you know, David Duke. It feels like you're fighting against like movements. So whenever somebody sounds like Lecrae, if he says, you know, I stand with Kaepernick for kneeling, now it's like, oh, you must be one of them. You know what I mean? And you get pushed all the way over to a side that you hate.
Yeah.
Or if you say something like, you know, wear a red MAGA hat, oh, you're one of those people. Get out, you know. And it's like we gotta fix some of that.
Did that just happen recently? Because America has always been, in the past, has always been, of course, liberal, conservative. And then it was a point in time where you could be at a dinner table with somebody in your family, they're super conservative, you super liberal, and then you still love them at the end of the day. Yeah. Like, regardless if they're a Christian or not, because they're your family member, your cousin or whatever. But now it's to a point where I'm seeing online where people kicking their family members out because they don't want nothing to do with them because they're conservative.
It's honestly, it's because of Obama. Obama getting elected, it created the Tea Party.
It was a ripple.
And that created a lot of backlash to them, because honestly, if you think about it, Obama, a lot of Republicans would voted for Obama.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the country was in a bad spot.
Yeah.
And Obama kind of like brought in this hope.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of people, white and black, that were willing to say, you know what, I'm not a Democrat, I don't like those policies, but Obama was enough of a centrist Democrat to where you were like, it's not so bad, and at least we'll get the country going again, right? Yeah. And then a couple of decisions later, and a couple of Tea Party congressmen later, and a couple of, you know,
it was that second election too.
The second election, the shootings, and then it started getting to be like, no, we need to get rid of this. You know,
I regret, Obamacare,
that you could keep your policy and all the kind of stuff. You could keep your doctrine.
So
there were a lot of, and there was things that we even criticized on the show.
Yeah,
and that's why I want to make sure our show stays fair. Where it's like, I'll criticize Trump all day, but if you rewind the tape, you saw me criticizing Obama.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So like, as a Christian, I'm not aligned with any of these people. I don't care about none of them. All I care about is how is the body being affected by these people, right? So I think if everybody could get to that spot, I would be nervous as a Christian if I was so aligned with my skin color or my party or my whatever that had nothing to do with Jesus. Like, I'll be nervous. Like, why am I so like what? It has to be some sort of brainwashing involved. Like, why are you so aligned with these people?
Yeah.
So I question everybody and everything. Ain't nobody worth your allegiance besides Jesus like that, right? So like, I really, really feel like we got to get back to a place where we can, in a calm way, without getting hot, have these conversations, figure out how to make the church different.
Yeah.
The world is going crazy with this stuff. People are moving. The world used to be like, yeah, you may be a liberal, you may be a conservative, but the difference wasn't super, super big. Now it's like this. And people are running to the edges of these extreme ideas, and they don't realize that people created these ideas. Like, these are marketing ploys by politics. The wall is somebody created that as a marketing thing for Trump to get his people excited. There's this, I don't want to speak too much about this. I need to do more research on this Green New Deal stuff, because I have some opinions on that. I'll do more research on that. But some of these things are just things to get people to say, to rally behind, right? And you've adopted them as like, I agree with that too. You don't know nothing about global warming. You don't know anything about how that works. It feels right to you, right?
Yeah, this is the
you don't know anything about if a wall could do. You don't know anything about that. Like, you're aligning with it because it feels right to you. And there's the people at your church agree, and the people in your community agree. We got to get beyond that stuff and say, like, okay, whatever with all that. What does Jesus want from us right now? Who cares about that stuff?
And I think this is the time where everybody's political. Like, even the local dope boys is like, yo, Bush,
well, that's Trump.
Trump is out here trying to kill us.
Trump made I was Ryan knows this. I was the most every time he talked, he had his own politics segment so I could make him stop doing it when it's not his segment. You see what I'm saying? Because I hated politics, but even I have been like watching everything because he has now affected the church, and I'm seeing it. I'm like, okay, now I got to know what this is. Now I got to know what we're talking about. So
one of the things I'll say too, right, is that when it comes down to this, it's not that people are mad or angry, it's that they're really hurt. Right? So when you asked that question earlier, like, what are some things that you've heard that have made you feel like this is a racist situation. For me, it was when he said, back in the good old days, we used to carry them out on stretchers, right? And in my mind, I can think civil rights, they were carried out on stretchers when they went to rallies, right? They were hosed and they were beaten and they were jailed. And when I heard that, that's when I got hurt and I was like, yeah. And that was when they had a clash between the man who hit the black person at the rally, right? Yeah. And then he made threats of, I will kill you, and nothing happened to him.
Yeah. Trump is impenetrable. He's the Hulk. And I don't know what he can say to get people to I think I've decided there is nothing that he can do to get people to lose their support of him, because it's not about him anymore. It's about defeating those people. Yeah. I don't care what he does. He's on our team. I want to defeat you guys. And the same thing on the other side. I don't care what any of our people do. We just need to defeat them. And that's kind of in the church. There's Christians that I know are born again, believing Christians that are on both sides of this thing. And it's like, this is my body. My body is being cut in half. What do I do about that? It's not okay. So I just feel like we have to be bigger than this. We have to be able to say, forget all the talking points, forget all the spin. If you can't see spin, then you may need to sit on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to see when these people get on TV and spin this and spin that.
Or YouTube, that people got stuff going on YouTube, regardless of like if you're black, pro-black, and like anti-Trump, or if you black conservative or pro-Trump, I'm seeing both sides on that too. Yeah. So it's like you said, discernment got to be high for you right now, because like I said, everybody's into politics. Even if they're getting information that's false and using that as bait for people, and they be like, oh, see, but you're so hateful towards the administration, or you're so hateful towards the opposite side. Is like, you can't see like, oh, these people are lying, or you can't see, or they're trying to spin it for their own selfish gain.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go back to this. I don't know if this is gonna get any traction. I'm gonna keep saying it. I really do think it's a sin for you to be at this. Maybe not. It always has been, but I think now, for you to say that you're a Democrat or Republican at this time, to me, is a sin.
I agree, because
you should be a Christian. Like your decisions should not be aligned with these parties. These parties are clearly they have both outed themselves as non-Christian. Yeah. Republican Party is not a Christian party, and the Democratic Party is not a Christian party. For you to align yourself with those terms in this day and age, I do think it's a sin. Now, maybe, it'll get cleaned up at some point. I don't know. But to me, I feel the same way about, I've always felt the same way about fraternities and sororities. Anytime you align yourself with a set of people that have nothing to do with Jesus, and you start to adopt their way of life and adopt everything they say, you're just like pause, like wait, no, I don't even agree with y'all that much to be like no, I disagree with you. We're gonna talk about everything on my side, your side, everything. Like, nothing is non-debatable.
I think there has to be a healthy balance, right? So in my mind, I can probably stop saying that, but when I turn on the news stations, the one that I'm gonna watch is leaning more left than they do the right.
But you got to know that too. You got to know that, even, and this is being real, even with Christian television, you had to know, like, oh, this person is a Republican, so they're going to say it like this. Yeah. And then you watch somebody who's a Democrat, they're going to say it like this. Like, you got to know, like, where these people stand before you, like, open yourself up to their information.
Because every single thing is spun. Everybody is saying, like, even me, I'm saying what I'm saying from a background of growing up in Charles Stanley's church, right? Yeah. He taught me theology, like head knowledge theology, how to evangelize and preach people the word of God. But it also comes from a background of a church that teaches you how to really live out a life of passionate allegiance to Christ, not just in your head. Yeah. Like you have to this actually has to matter to you, like in your heart. Yeah. You have to actually care about people, not just want to prove them wrong. Yeah. Like that balance, right? So everything I'm telling you is coming from that. So you have to know that to understand where I'm coming from, right? Yeah. You have to understand where all of these people, every news anchor, none of them don't have an opinion on this. Yeah. They all either agree with one side or the other, or they have a mix. Yeah. I always try to find the people who can have a healthy mix of, like, to me, the person on the news that most aligns with me, if you want to know more about me, is Nicole Wallace on. She has a show called Deadline White House. She's a Republican that is very upset about what is happening in the party right now. That's more me than anybody else, right? So you need to know that about them, because everything she says and everything I say is going to be, I understand you, but I'm disappointed, right? That's everything she says, right? You have to know that and also, this is just a recommendation, you have to force yourself, and I mean sometimes force yourself, to watch everything.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up watching Fox News. That was the news of the church, right? And it wasn't until the Trayvon Martin shooting stuff, when I can't remember her name. She just got fired from MSNBC, that lady. I realized that Fox News has a race problem, and they have a have a Trump problem, right? And I started seeing, this is clearly spin. And it's not everybody. There are people during the daytime hours that are pretty fair. But then the people at night are completely not fair. Right? So
O'Reilly and
they're completely not fair. And CNN is like the opposite, right? So CNN, they've drifted.
Because I think CNN used to be fair until
CNN used
Trump
to be
said,
more in the middle
fake news.
until they got attacked by Trump, and they just ran, because even Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, all of them, they just went straight to the other side.
But you know who's kind of fair with them? Van
is one of my favorites.
I saw him recently in a conservative thing, and I was like, oh wow, like
he tries at least to be fair. So I look for the people that are trying to be fair. And I also even watch the stuff that isn't fair, just to kind of hear, like, this is what people are being told, right? This is the news, right? So like something will happen, like oh boy,
Jesse.
No. Well, okay, let's take Jesse, right? Something will happen big, and you'll see, okay, breaking news, or let's say something bad happened with Trump, right? Some bad news happened with Trump. Breaking news on the 5, or breaking news on what's the lady? Shut up and dribble lady. Laura Ingraham. They won't even mention it. So you're not even getting information sometimes that you need, right? So you have to know, okay, if I go, I watch the 5 almost every day, because they got the one Democrat guy, and then there's 4 Republicans, which is usually the opposite setup as CNN, which would have like maybe
4 Republicans,
5 Democrats and 2 Republicans. So it's you'll get it from a different angle, and the host, whoever is playing the host role, will side with the people they agree with, right? So you have to know that. So I'll watch them, and I'll hear, I think his name is Jesse Williams and
Juan Williams.
No, on the 5. You know what I'm talking about? Greg Gutfeld.
But they
Jesse
have
Waters. Jesse Waters and Juan Williams. So I'll hear them have their conversation. It's like, okay, I see what they're saying. I see that they don't think Trump did anything wrong, so this all feels like an attack from those people, right? And then you go to CNN, and they're just like, I can't believe this is happening. Why are we late? Because they think he did something wrong. So it's all from that angle. So you have to. And sometimes I'm not in the mood to listen to stuff I don't agree with, but you have to listen to it, because your brothers and sisters, this is what they're hearing. And you have to be able to understand, okay, this is why they think this is important. This is why they don't agree with this. This is why they may not be seeing the racist stuff, because they don't cover it. They don't cover all that stuff, right?
So the morning that they were going through this issue with Roger Stone, right, when he was being picked up by the police and this, that, and the other, I turned to Fox News, and at the bottom of theirs was Hillary Clinton's emails. And I was like, okay.
But also, on the CNN joint, if Trump spilled coffee, is like 2 hours of Trump spilled coffee in a row. So it's like, it's both sides like that.
He's bringing a lot of content to television and shows. So he's always gonna be there, and more 9 out of 10 times, it is about something negative that he's done. Like, you really don't see too much positive things that they report on. So
the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because when I go to lunch, so I go to lunch at like 3:30, or if I come in early at 12:30, or my break at 5, the 5 is playing. It's like whoever at my job decided to say, hey, I'm gonna make everybody mad. It's gonna be Fox News here and CNN right here, and in the middle is just MSC stuff. So you walk in and you can literally see on, like I said, Fox News, and then on one side, and then on the other side is CNN. So you hear them both going at the same time. So you may hear Wolf Blitzer talk about something, and then you may hear the 5 talk about something as well. You know what I mean?
But it's gotten so divisive that when you're in the airport in Atlanta, it's CNN town, right? it used to be just news.
Yeah.
Now I'm in the airport and it's like, oh snap, they're going in. Like it's not just news anymore; it's opinion now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Fox is really the one that kind of made opinion news like a thing.
Yeah.
And now everybody's following it. Where Don Lemon will just get on and just give his opinion about whatever he feels.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit new to me to hear that in a news spot. So the world is different, and we got to be able to be smart enough to cut through that. If you find yourself agreeing with the person you're listening to, you need to start questioning why.
Yeah.
Have I been listening to this guy too much? Do I watch this station too much?
Yeah.
Do I need to turn this off?
Yeah.
Do I need to start listening to other people that may not like? Because sometimes I'll turn to Fox News and I'll be like, that makes sense. I understand why they're saying that. I understand why they're saying that. They are going a little bit too. The Jussie Williams thing is a bad look. That's really bad look. That dude messed up a lot of people's arguments, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's things that was like you have a point, and if you can't ever say you have a point to the other side, you need to question yourself. There's something wrong with you if you can't weigh people fairly. So anyway, that's been my life. You're in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Wright to Sean Tanner.
Hey guys, Miracle here. Thank you so much for watching that episode. Make sure you go below, like it, subscribe, click the bell, and make sure you follow us on all forms of our social media. Also, check out our website and be sure you spread the word. We'll see you next time.
We know not what we doing. Screw that, they know, let them have it, do it. Okay, I'm erratic, prove it. Never mind, got a mind that'll wind up with me in a lineup behind bars with these bars. Okay, my time.
Team Freedom.
Yeah.
We not through yet.
All right.
Trackstarz Music presents.
Turn my volume up. Turn me off.